Millions of people struggle with addiction for thousands of years. Addiction is constantly destroying relationships, families, and people's lives. And there are hundreds of addictions that are ruining people's lives, such as alcohol, nicotine, sex, and many drugs are the most common addictions that people suffer every single day. An alarming number of drug addicts in the United States become addicted to drugs due to medical procedures that require hard opiates for pain relief. Punishing addicts that are struggling with drug addiction that they gained from prescribed medications from their doctors seems extremely unfair. There are also many fewer addictive medications that can be used compared to these strong painkillers. Many addicts who reach out for help with their addiction will either go to rehab or therapy. Addicts will also often be arrested and given a prison sentence when they're caught with drugs. And lots of people who get incarcerated for drug-related offenses will be arrested more than one time, and oftentimes they will be arrested multiple times. If so many addicts are being helped with therapy and rehab, then you might wonder why the people who get caught in possession of drugs are given a prison sentence rather than help from an institution. The United States prison system is deeply flawed. When drug addicts are put in prison rather than rehab, they are placed into an institution where people have committed much worse crimes, and they are surrounded with people who are not looking for help and who continue to commit crimes while in prison. Lots of people who leave the prison system leave worse off than they were before when they were put into the prison system. These conditions in prison can be traumatic, causing people to rely much harder on drugs to cope when they are released. The U.S. prison systems are some of the most established and full prison systems in the whole world, and there is a very large percentage of people who are currently incarcerated for drug-related offenses. Another large percentage of inmates also claim that they committed the crime that they were arrested for while they were on hard drugs. Over 80% of inmates in the United States prisons claim to struggle with addiction. Drug addiction is a mental illness. Drugs greatly affect a person's body and brain in a ton of ways. One thing that keeps addicts addicted is the withdrawal side effects. When a person is withdrawing from alcohol or other drugs, they will often have symptoms of anxiety, depression, vomiting, headaches, and in much more serious cases, seizures or even death. Suicidal thoughts is a very common symptom of someone who is going through drug withdrawals. Suicide rates when someone is addicted to drugs is also extremely high compared to those who don't have serious addictions. Addiction also affects people's behaviors and personalities, which often results in ruined relationships with their partners, families, and their friends. Drug addicts are much more likely to develop paranoia, aggression, and many more concerning behaviors. And that is oftentimes when these addicts will be arrested when they're expressing these behaviors. Drug users that are either experiencing an overdose or are with someone who is overdosing are oftentimes reluctant to call emergency services due to the punishments that they might receive for being in possession of drugs. This problem causes a big problem with overdoses in the United States and makes overdoses to be so much more deadly. The United States prison system is deeply flawed. The U.S. prison system is traumatic and can worsen mental health in these addicts. Convicts in prison often will develop new mental health issues after being released from prison due to the inhumane ways of living there. Violence in prisons is huge issues, both with other inmates and also with the guards oftentimes. Prisons are definitely not safe from drugs either. Drug overdoses in prison is the main cause of death, which actually makes prisons one of the deadliest places that a United States citizen can go to. The United States prison system treats prisoners as if they are no longer United States citizens with rights. They are isolated from society and they are given poor treatment, and ex-convicts report losing their sense of identity, which causes a lot of mental health problems. These conditions in prison cause severe depression and anxiety in the inmates and then often sends them back into society with PTSD and other mental health conditions that will require help and a lot of treatment. And this creates a circle of addiction since so many addicts are already abusing substances due to mental health problems that they are suffering from. The United States prison system is behind compared to other countries that treat their inmates so much better. An alarming percentage of U.S. prisoners also contributes to the mental health problems. Due to an extremely high number of United States citizens in the prison system, the prisons are extremely overcrowded, which makes the quality of life in prison even lower. If drug-related crimes weren't handled in prison, then there would no longer be an overcrowding issue. In conclusion, the prison system is filled with millions of people who do not need to be punished. These drugs are already destroying their lives, and these addicts need help. Better mental health care and a more specific plan to help addicts with their addictions is needed to help the millions of people that struggle every single day in the United States.